Do you ever feel like managing casual employees is something a little bit like solving a Rubik's Cube with a blindfold on? Well, perhaps this is going to get even more challenging for businesses, as there are some new changes to the Fair Work Act that come into effect as part of the Closing Loopholes Bill. And today we're going to unpack these key changes and explore how they might impact your business processes. So from the 26th of August 2024, there'll be another new definition of casual employment requiring employers to consider the practical reality of the employment relationship and not just the contractual one. They'll need to focus on the true nature of the commitment between the employer and the employee. And an objective test to determine this will be established based on the following key criteria. Number one, no firm advance commitment to ongoing and indefinite work. And number two, an entitlement to casual loading or a specific rate of pay. Now, this so-called employee choice process as well allows employees to notify their employer if they no longer believe they meet the casual employee definition. And additionally, when it comes to casual conversions, employers will only need to provide a fair and reasonable grounds of based around operational needs if they're going to reject a casual's conversion request. Now, as a reminder, we can effectively count on our fingers the number of times that a casual conversion process occurs, because as soon as the employee realizes they need to give up their 25% casual loading in order to make the conversion, they simply choose not to and keep the money. The Fair Work Commission will also be granted expanded powers in order to arbitrate casual conversion disputes and includes classification disputes as well as additional small claims procedures. Now, employees must distribute the Fair Work casual information statements within the first 6 months, at the 12-month mark, and then annually thereafter. Now, we think this is designed to effectively remind the employee of their ability to request casual conversion. So out of this, what are some of the key business considerations and action items? Review if you have any casual employees that you can identify that might be deemed permanent or part-time employees as part of this new definition. Now remember, you should really do this regardless of what's written in your employment contracts. Consider reviewing your employment contracts to ensure that they are compliant with the new legislation. We have a couple of tips and tricks that we use for our members in order to make sure it's a good process for both the casual employee as well as the business, maintaining compliance with the minimum amount of fuss. And finally, take a look at your internal processes, particularly when it comes to casual conversions, and offering this to casual employees periodically throughout their employment. And finally, if none of this makes sense to you, or you have a tricky situation when it comes to casual employment or any other HR or workplace relations issue for that matter, of course, you can always reach out to On Demand HR for a no obligation discussion. And the best way to do that is by visiting our website at www.ondemandhr.com.au.